Hello and welcome to the engineering school. As you probably already guessed, we will talk about bottles and how to design them. Specifically PET bottles, which stands for the material that the bottle is created from, a plastic material called polyethylene terephthalate. So first of all, let's understand how a bottle is made. The first step is that a preform is injection molded. And that preform doesn't have the shape of the bottle. It does have the shape of the finish up here, and then it extends down a bit. And this preform is later used in a blow molding process, which means that the preform is heated up, stretched out and pressurized inside of a mold to get the finished shape of the bottle. Okay, now when we have some basic knowledge regarding how a bottle is made, let's talk a little bit about the anatomy, if we say so, of the bottle. On the top, where you have the threads, this part, that's called the finish of the bottle. Below the finish, you have the bead, or some people call it the collar of the bottle. And below that, you have the neck of the bottle, and you also have the base of the neck. And then it extends out, and this part, naturally, you want to call it a shoulder. And down here, what would you call it? It's called a waist. And if the bottle doesn't have a waist, it's just called the body of the bottle. So in this case, we have a waist. Normally, that's where you would put the label of the bottle. And below that, you have the bottom, or the base of the bottle. And the base can look different depending on what beverages will be used in the bottle. For example, if it's carbureted or not. You have to have some ribs on the base to help it maintain its structure. In this case, we will design a bottle for flat water, so we don't have to worry about any high pressure deforming the bottle. Okay, so the ribs, they add stability to the design. And down here you can see that it moves up a little bit. This is partly to give the bottle a smaller surface to stand on to help it be more stable when you put it on a flat surface. So for example, if the surface or if the bottom of the bottle would be flat, the bottom part of the bottle could have some imperfections that created an unstable bottle, and we don't want that, okay? Another reason for this part here, it's called a push-up, by the way. So you push the base up. Easy to remember. Another reason for the push-up here is that after you have created the preform, you will have some residue left on the bottom of the preform due to the injection molding process. So with the push-up, we won't have the residue interfere with whatever surface we lay the bottle on top of. Of course, the bottle is created in a mold, so we need to keep that in mind in regards of design and what features we can use in the final design. Okay, so let's talk about the threads. What type of thread can you use for a plastic bottle? When I say, from now on, when I'm saying plastic bottles, I'm referring to PET bottles. So in regards to the threads, you can't just put any thread on there and hope that it would stay sealed and be safe for the consumer. You have many different standards for these types of threads. For example, you have the GPI/SPI standard. That stands for the Glass Packaging Institute and the Society of the Plastics Industry. And they have a standard. So for example, the threads are called SP400 or SP410 or SP415 and so on. And depending on the names, the threads have different features. It can vary from the shape of the finish to the revolutions of the threads. So if you want to know more about that, I can make a future video about it, or you can also Google it. But the thread I am using in this case is a thread standard from the ISBT, standing for the International Society of Beverage Technologists. But you don't need to know all of this right now. I will do a future episode in regards to these types of threads. So I chose this thread profile based on the use of the bottle and the content in it. We won't have any carbonated beverages. Of course, if you would have, then you would need to change the thread profile to satisfy that condition and change the design of the ribs on the base of the bottle. Then we also have some aesthetic features to bring the design to life. I always like that, even if it's just a water bottle, you can give it a lot of different features that makes it look more professional. So you see I have some features down here and also up here. I'm kind of trying to go with the same theme to have some sort of flow in the bottom part and the top part. Also, I think it's good that you only have one dominating feature. Down here you can see that this design is a little bit more aggressive, and up here it's a little more subtle. So we don't want to have two aggressive features that would just distract too much, and that's part of the reason that I chose this design on the top. I had another feature for the grooves on the top, but I thought it didn't go with the theme of the bottle because it was another aggressive feature that didn't contribute to the flow of the design. So let's talk about the task manager here on the left. You can see that I have structured my design. I would also recommend you to do that when you're designing parts with lots of features in them, because if you need to change something in the future, you would like to find it easily, and by having it in different sections like this, you can easily find it and change it. So here I've started with the basic shape, then I created the ribs on the base of the part, then the grooves on the bottom of the part, and then I have two different versions, as I told you, on the top grooves, and I have thickened the part because I'm working with a surface, and we will do that on the next episode. So when you're working with a surface and you have finished the design, you need to give it a thickness to be able to create a solid part. So that's what I did there. And the last part was to create the finish of the bottle. So that pretty much concludes our basic overview of the bottle and the design. Please let me know in the comments below if you want me to dig deeper into a specific subject or explain something that I said. So I hope you liked this episode. Please stay tuned for the next episode where we will start designing the bottle. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do that. Also hit the thumbs up if you liked the video, and I'll see you on the next episode.